Zadondaini, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Electro Ninja's Lab. In today's video, we are going to be talking about the great Ghost of Tsushima, aka Japanese Skyrim. And yes, I will probably be calling it Japanese Skyrim for a long time. Honestly, this game is very similar to Skyrim. And if you've played Skyrim, you and this, then you know what I'm talking about. It's got a lot of the similar aspects. One of the biggest differences, though, is the level up system. Rather than doing things over and over again to actually gain levels, it's more like something like, whatchamado, Shadow of the Colossus, where you find different items all over the world, and you have to collect them in order to raise your level for those specific things. Like, let's say that you go to a hot spring, you're going to increase your HP. You go to the different locations where you can cut bamboo. You'll increase your focus, I believe it's called. I don't actually know what it's actually called. I'm sorry. And so on and so forth. But one of the things that is similar is the fact that you are constantly going to be grinding to get tools and stuff and upgrades, and it's insane. Honestly, the game is a whole bunch of fun, and it for honestly, if you are interested in anything like that, like what I've said already, then absolutely do play it. But this is a show it some love. Obviously, we're going to talk more about it. So, honestly, I have only gotten about maybe a third, maybe a half. I'm not really certain. It's somewhere between there, but only about that far through the game. And I've played the game for over 25 hours. Don't know the exact number, but it's over 25. So, yeah. it's a it's a big game. It's a very big game. The thing about Ghost of Tsushima, though, is that you are constantly going to be moving around, going from place to place, getting all of the different things, getting just things that look cool, going to the different shrines to make sure that your levels are better, making sure that you have all of the things that I'm forgetting what they're called, which is the reason that you go to the shrines, and just so on and so forth. Cutting down bamboo, going to chasing after foxes, like I said, to go see the shrines, and constantly returning to the cities to make sure that you get your gear upgraded. And that is the constant struggle of this game, making sure that all of your gear is as upgraded as it can be. You're constantly going to be wanting to make sure that you're fighting bears and pigs and dogs and every single creature that you come across, because, well, except for obviously deer. Deer do nothing, and I have no idea why they're there, except for to make them look cool. But basically, you are constantly going to be going to want to hunt down those predators so that you can get your things to be perfect. You're constantly going to be going to different towns and making sure that you pick up all of the supplies that you need for your specific gear and all of those things so that you can level up everything to the maximum thing. And also, every time you see supplies, make sure you get them, because holy crap, you need so many supplies. And these aren't just the random things that have different names. These are the things that actually say supplies, because holy crap, you will constantly be going after them. And also, do get other things, because you're going to be wanting to sell certain things in order to get those supplies, because yeah, it's a lot. Like, the final upgrades to just your outfits cost like 750 supplies by themselves. So, yeah. And the thing right below that is 600. So, or is it 500? I don't know. But it's still a lot. Not to mention all of the other things like make sure that you upgrade your bows, make sure that you upgrade your swords, make sure that you are buying all of the different upgrade or the different designs and all of these things, which honestly, seriously, get all of those designs and get all of the different outfits that you can, because honestly, all of them are so cool. Like, I usually stick to one set most of the time, but for the reason that I do that is because of the fact that the set that I usually wear is the way that you find certain items. So you are constantly going to be wanting to have that equipped. But almost everything else you can constantly change, and every single gear piece of gear does have its bonuses, at least for the main outfits. Your hat and your face mask do not have anything to do with the game, with the gameplay or anything. It's just something cool to make it look cool, and you can constantly be customizing, which is honestly so much fun to just customize Jin however you want. And choosing the name of your horse is also very fun, and the color. Everything is really fun about this game. It's honestly kind of ridiculous. There are certain things that I do wish were slightly better, but honestly, considering how much I love this game, I can't really think immediately of things that are problems. Now, the only thing that I should say is that I have not played the multiplayer thing. I'm not exactly certain how it works exactly. I don't know if Legends is both multiplayer and something else, or what it is. But no, I have not played the Legends part, which you need to have online for that. As far as I'm aware, like I said, I haven't tested it, and I haven't tested the free DLC for it. So, yeah, honestly, it does still look like it could be a lot of fun to do, but I don't know how it is right now. It does, like I said, do check it out if you get the chance, but don't worry too much about it. As for your weapons and the gameplay, it's honestly so interesting. Honestly, you will be using every single button on your controller every encounter, except for maybe block if that's not your gameplay style. Which, yeah, you're constantly going to be pressing R1 to make sure that you launch off the quick ranged attacks. You're going to be you're going to be using L2 and R2 to make sure that you shoot your bow. You're going to be constantly hitting square and triangle to make sure that you get good combos off in every single battle. You're going to be using triangle to break shields. You're going to be using square for almost everything else. Just trust me, it's the best way to handle things. You're going to be using circle to dodge. You're going to be jumping all over the place. You're going to be pressing the down arrow key to make sure that you're healing if you are getting damaged. And if you want to make a hasty retreat, you're going to be pressing the left button to quickly call your horse, mount up, and run away. Not to mention different ways of stealthing, and the different ways that you can play are honestly beyond imagination. Honestly, you could play this game in so many ways, and while there are certain moments where you have to be stealthy, for the most part, you can choose how you want to play the game. If you want to go up to a place that is surrounded by enemies, you can just press the up button, do a standoff, and then kick everyone's ass. And it's honestly just insane, all of the different things you can do. Also, you're going to be using the touchpad a lot more than you probably think. Like, Swiping up is to make sure that you know where you're going. Right and left, I always forget, and the same about going down, but you're gonna be using it. It's honestly just a bit insane. Also, you're constantly every time that you press L2 and R2, you're more than likely going to be switching something. If you're using your bow, you're going to be pressing L2, switching which bow, or whether you're going to just be throwing something. And if you're pressing R2, you're switching your weapons, your fighting style, as well as maybe your quick attacks. All of these things have so many aspects to the game that it's honestly just insane. Also, make sure that you use the proper attack style. Obviously, when you first start off the game, you're gonna start off with one attack style, then you're gonna get the shield style, which is good for people with shields. Then you're gonna get the one that's good for spears, and then you're gonna get the one that's good for brutes. Always, once you have all four of them, always make sure that you are using the proper style for the proper enemy. If you're facing off against swordsmen, use the first stance. If you're facing shields, I'll use the shield one. If you're facing people with spears, make sure you use the spear one. If you're facing brutes, whether it's the guys with a big axe or the guys with the huge frickin' shields, make sure you're using the big brutes guy. It's honestly just a bunch of fun. Now, obviously, you can choose not to do that, but it's all... and that is what makes it interesting. Obviously, it can be difficult. It absolutely can be a difficult game to get into. And honestly, I do suggest that when you first start this game, you do start with a easier mode so that you can actually learn how the controls work and actually have fun with the story. Also, a quick thing. I don't care if you are someone who likes subs for anime. Do not play on Japanese in the first for your first playthrough. It's honestly really hard to actually handle, because people are constantly going to be using, like I said, they're going to be saying Japanese a lot, and looking down all the time just to read the subtitles can be a pain. So honestly, for your first playthrough, if you are someone who speaks English, I suggest playing it in English. Even if you're someone who's learning Japanese, I do not suggest this game as for your first playthrough as a good way to learn your Japanese, because you need to know things that they're saying. It's not necessarily the most important stuff, but if you miss something, that could be detrimental to your gameplay. So, like I said, play the game in your native language for your first playthrough. Afterwards, maybe check out the other versions. But, yeah. But pretty much, I guess that's it. Honestly, just have fun with this game. Like I said, it is Japanese Skyrim. And that's okay. It's honestly just a good time that I honestly believe that every single person does need to at one point play this game and just have a good time enjoying the story, the different ways that you can play the game, learn how to be stealthy, learn how to do everything as a samurai. It's your choice. And it's honestly just a ton of fun. I hope that this video has at least gotten some of you to be interested in the game. But anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please make sure to leave a like, and if you didn't, then leave a dislike. I know I don't say that very often, but seriously, either one helps, believe it or not. And of course, if you are new or you just haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and ring that notification bell. It helps out a lot more than you actually think. I know that some people are like, oh, it doesn't matter and all that stuff. It matters, guys. It really does. And it really does help to get us more noticed and to help us out in the future. Way more than you actually expect. And of course, if you have any thoughts or theories, please make sure to leave them in the comments below. And of course, if you are going to leave a theory, make sure to say theory review somewhere in your comment so that we can talk about it in a future video. And of course, if you do want to support the channel even more, then definitely head down to the description and check out all of our links down there, including our social medias and ways that you can support the channel and financially, including our Patreon, which a big thank you to our current patron Sheeny, and our merch store, which, if I'm remembering correctly, it does now have the lab shirt. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely head over to the merch store and get those shirts. But anyways, guys, I have been Electro Ninja, and I will see you guys next time. But on!